Season 3 of the Overwatch League is nearly upon us. With it comes an exciting new year full of great games and intriguing storylines, but this new season also comes with great change, and it goes beyond people just leaving or joining a team. A ton has happened with the nitty-gritty as well. What I mean by this is the format, rules, and other general information that is important to know. I know that keeping up with it all isn't always easy, and that's where I come in. Allow me to inform those of you who need to be caught up. In today's video, we're going to discuss everything you need to know about Season 3 of the Overwatch League. Let's begin by discussing the basic format. As all of you likely already know, regular season games will be taking place on Saturdays and Sundays from February 8th until August 9th. All of these games will be taking place in different cities. We start with New York and Dallas in week 1, and then we go from there. Be aware of the start times, by the way. It is very important to keep in mind that the times will be different every single weekend. It's not going to be like last year where there was usually a set schedule. Keep a close eye on the schedule and make sure to translate it into your applicable time zone if it's not done for you already. With that in mind, there could be times where you miss out on certain games simply because they're being held too late or too early in the day. Take me for example. I live on the East Coast, so anytime there's a game in China or Korea, I'll probably miss out on it since they'll likely start at like 2 and 4 a.m. Try your best to have awareness of this so you know what to expect. While we're on the topic of China, let me quickly go over that bit of news next. I'm sure all of you watching this video right now have probably heard of the coronavirus outbreak in China. It's super dangerous and deadly, and the Overwatch League made sure to take action over this. Since there were multiple games set to be played in China relatively soon, the league has decided to cancel all Chinese home games in February and March. The following homestands have been canceled as of this moment. We have the one taking place in Shanghai during week 2, there's the games taking place in Guangzhou during weeks 3, 6, and 7, as well as the Hangzhou games in week 4. While this is really sad news, it goes without saying that this was the right decision. The health and safety of both the players and fans are priority number one. Some of you probably want to know what will happen now that these games are cancelled, and to answer this question, we don't quite know just yet. According to Shanghai on Twitter, the time, place, and live streaming platform has yet to be determined for their upcoming games in week 2. Please don't worry if you got tickets to any of these events, by the way. So long as they stay canceled, you should be able to get a refund. Getting back on topic with the general format though, this year is going to once again have it so every team plays 28 regular season games, with each of them playing every team in their conference twice and every team out of their conference once. And about halfway through the season, we'll get our annual All-Star break and all of the festivities that come along with it. But unlike last year, there's going to be a new event introduced this time around. It's called the Mid-Season Tournament. This tournament is going to serve kind of like as this old-fashioned stage playoffs from Season 1. It's going to feature the top 4 teams in the league. The top team in each conference gets in, as well as the 2 teams with the next best records in the standings. The bracket will be single elimination, with the top seed picking their first round opponent. And of course, there's going to be a prize pool for this thing. The winning team will get $500,000. With stages no longer being a thing, this is the only type of playoff atmosphere we are going to get until the regular season concludes. And what's better than watching the top dogs in the league duke it out in a couple of bonus matches? While I'm on the topic of where teams are in the standings, I should probably mention the changes when it comes to divisions. Instead of just having the Pacific and Atlantic divisions, they will now be called the Atlantic and Pacific Conferences. Within those conferences, we will have a total of 4 divisions: the Pacific East, the Pacific West, the Atlantic North, and the Atlantic South. The divisions themselves really only serve as a way to form rivalries. It's kind of like with the NFL, you know? Those divisional games are always intense, and the league is probably hoping a similar thing will happen with their own teams. The final thing to cover in regards to the basic format is playoffs. The main thing to take away from that is that it's the exact same as last year, basically. When the regular season concludes, the team sitting at the top of the Atlantic and Pacific Conference will be granted the 1 and 2 seed, with the next 4 teams in the standings getting the remaining guaranteed spots regardless of their conference. As for the remaining 2 playoff spots, well, those will once again be determined through a single elimination play-in tournament between the teams positioned from 7th place to 12th place in the overall standings. Once the 7 and 8 seeds are decided through the play-ins, we once again will have a double elimination playoff tournament leading up to the grand finals in September, with the winner of the league taking home $1.5 million in prize money. The playoffs were really epic last year, so it's good to see this format making a return. That's all I have for you when it comes to major details about the general format, so now let's get into some of the rules and how the games themselves will be played. A major change that is going into effect is how a team is able to secure a win in the regular season. For the last 2 years, we've had the standard 4-map series that would sometimes go to a 5th and final tiebreaker map. This year, the league is stepping away from that though. Instead, a series will end the moment a team wins 3 maps. No longer will we see those unnecessary extra maps when a series has already been decided. Regular season games will not end until somebody reaches that 3-win mark. Anytime a game is evenly matched, it could still go the distance to a map 5, or maybe even higher depending on how many ties we see on Hybrid or Assault. If you're worried about some of these matches maybe lasting a bit too long, then don't be. Once we hit map 5, only control maps will be played until a victor is decided. Keep in mind that this format only pertains to the regular season, by the way. The playoffs will likely be the same as last year if I had to take a guess, where it's first to 4 wins. The one thing that may bother people about this new format though is that we are getting more halftime breaks after every 2 maps. Could it be a little annoying sometimes? Yeah, sure, but it gives teams the extra opportunity to strategize and make more mid-game adjustments, which could in turn lead to a more exciting game. The next thing to note about the regular season match structure is map rotation. To start every game, Control will always be the first map. After that, you'll see Escort, Hybrid, and Assault in different rotating orders throughout the year. Then, like I said before, if we go past a map 4, then you'll only see control maps for the rest of that game. But how will map pools work? What will the league do now that there's no longer any stages? So the league is making sure to rotate maps 4 times throughout the year, so we don't always see the same ones. The rotation will be on a 6-week basis, meaning that the first one will last until March 21st. While I don't know what's going to be played in the future, the first map pool of the year was revealed quite some time ago. Here's a refresher. For Control, every single map in the game will be available. This will be a constant throughout the entire season, by the way. For Assault, the pool will consist of Hanamura, Horizon Lunar Colony, and Temple of Anubis. For Hybrid, we've got Blizzard World, Eichenwald, and King's Row. Then finally, on Escort maps, we'll have Junkertown, Havana, and Dorado. Another thing to bring up is how patches will work. In the past, we've seen the league play on old patches for weeks, if not months at a time. But now the league is ready to move away from that. Anytime a new patch is introduced into Overwatch, games will be played under that new patch 2 weeks after they go live. And if any updates happen mid-patch, the league will implement those as well, but only 1 week after they get introduced. The pressure on players to adjust quickly will be great, but it will surely satisfy fans who strongly dislike watching pros play on old patches for extended periods of time. Another in-game rule that's going to be introduced is hero pools. Jeff Kaplan and the Overwatch team announced hero pools last week, and the league followed up by stating they'll be using it in their game starting on March 7th. But what exactly will hero pools do at the Overwatch League level? Well, according to the league's website, 1 tank, 1 support, and 2 DPS characters will be made unavailable every single weekend. How will they decide who gets banned every week, you may ask? Well, they're going to be randomly selecting them based on play rate data over 2 weeks of time, and only heroes who are played regularly can be banned. If you're somebody who doesn't want to see their favorite broken hero never be played ever, then don't worry. No hero can be unavailable 2 weeks in a row, so you're all good there. Another big detail to remember with hero pools is that it's only going to be a thing that applies to the regular season. Hero pools will not be in effect for the mid-season tournament or the playoffs. All heroes will be available for play during those times. According to the Overwatch League, they believe that a rotating hero pool will foster a wide range of team strategies while showcasing more heroes than you'd see if there was only one meta to stick by. There's good and bad that comes with something like this. Seeing a few more team compositions could help keep the game fresh, but it does come at the cost of putting a lot more pressure on the coaches and players to come up with more strategies that they won't have a ton of time to practice. But the opinions are not what you came here for, obviously, so if you want to hear my full thoughts on hero pools, then check out my video on it after you're done watching this one. But that's basically everything I wanted to cover when it comes to the formatting, but there's still one more thing to go over. The Overwatch League will now have its games be streamed on YouTube instead of Twitch. For those of you who don't know, the Overwatch League, along with the COD League and the Hearthstone League, they all signed a multi-year deal to have their stuff be streamed on YouTube back on the 24th of January. For the foreseeable future, you'll have to tune into YouTube if you plan to catch a game live or watch any of the VODs. I haven't really talked about this here on the channel before, but I think we should all have faith in this to help grow this league. Twitch is the superior streaming service and all, but YouTube is a bigger platform, so it could help grow this league a ton. And as a bonus, it allows for content creators like Dividing, Wool, and myself to get more exposure. Like with hero pools, we should all give this thing a fair chance. You never know what could happen. With the Overwatch League switching platforms, it now presents a burning question that I've seen a ton of on the internet. What is going to happen with league tokens? To answer your question, we really don't know the exact details yet. I'm assuming the league has something planned, but there's no official confirmation just yet. However, I can assure you that the league is looking into it. I can't guarantee they'll have something up and running for day one, but I'd expect them to announce something very soon, so keep your eyes peeled. We will be getting rewards for watching games this year, I promise. We just don't know when quite yet. And yeah, that's basically everything I've got for you. This concludes my guide for Season 3 of the Overwatch League. If you have any other questions or feel I missed out on something, then let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, then I'd appreciate it a ton if you could hit that like button and subscribe. And if you're interested in supporting me further, then follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, or become a channel member today. If you purchase a Tier 2 membership like Railroad or Cabal, Adam Sinnott, and M-Burst, then you'll get shoutouts at the ends of videos and some other awesome perks along with it. Well, that pretty much does it for me, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thanks for watching today's content. I appreciate it a ton. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.